Welcome, everyone. This is the Jenkins governance meeting. Today is the 11th of August. Thanks for joining. And let's see, we've got no Alex yet. Great. Okay. So in terms of items on the agenda, Alex, I thought we would put a topic on for Jenkins election and let you talk to that one. Some action items, community activity in terms of the community plugin maintainers proposal. And Alex, here's where we'll put the details from you on the election. Then Contributor Summit was a topic I wanted to be sure we discussed. CDF membership drive and JFrog artifact storage reduction, then a summary of cloud expenses. And I had one last proposal, which was I need to add it to the agenda in here, which is rotating who leads the meeting. So we'll put that at the end and hope to get to it. Any other topics that need to be brought onto the agenda for today? Okay, let's go ahead then. Thank you. So upcoming calendar, next weekly, next LTS. Special thanks to Chris Stern for acting as LTS release lead. It's on track, looking good for release. And we've got Open Source Summit Europe coming to Amsterdam this month. Bruno Verrachten plans to be there. Valentin, I'm assuming you're not going to make it to Amsterdam for that?
No, I don't have any sponsor for that one.
Understood.
Sadly.
Got it. Okay. Any other upcoming calendar items that we should be discussing? Okay, then on the news front, the Jenkins election 2025 has started. Alex, do you want to give us an overview there?
Sure. Excuse me. So the stuff has been set up on community.jenkins.io for the elections nominations, as well as the elections registration 2025. The announcement blog post has been posted, as well as a message to the Jenkins users group. So we're just going through the nomination process right now. And that's done through that election committee group on community.jenkins.io.
Thank you. Okay, so and I know we've got it listed here. Registration starts September 16. I'm assuming everybody is okay if voters register early. We don't have to hold and wait until September 16. It's okay if they register now.
That's my viewpoint on it.
Great.
This was just kind of the timeline that was there from previous elections, but since it's already there, people can register.
Thank you. Any objections from other board members to allowing early voter registration? I don't see any harm to that at all. It feels like a positive.
Yeah, that's even better. Yeah, true.
Yeah, the more people we can get registered, the better. So
Great. All right. Super. Thank you. Alex, anything that you want to share or any concerns you have about the election process or election in general?
No, I think it's going smoothly so far. I do need to get the actual voting thing set up on the service, but that's not really needed yet. So that would be the
Right.
next step from my perspective.
Great. Thank you. Thanks very much for leading that. Thanks very, very much. On our action items, I had the action item to notify plugin maintainers about the Community Plugin Maintainers Initiative. And I finally did that just today. The idea is we'll do Java 25 as our first Community Plugin Maintainers Initiative. And so I sent instructions to the developers list, telling them how to opt out if they don't want the plugin maintainers initiative to take over as necessary and release their plugin if they're not keeping up with it. We had an action item to discuss CDF Technical Oversight Committee candidates. We did that. We submitted the nominations. The nomination was approved. The election was held, and Basil's been elected. Basil, anything you want to report on the attribution entries for downloads?
No.
Okay. And I still have not made any progress on my two action items, further definition of sponsorship tiers and transfer of Jenkins DNS ownership. I'll reach out to Tyler Croy for that one. Okay. Anything else on action items? Next, then, community plugin maintainers proposal. The idea here is Java 25 is releasing in September. We want to support it promptly. The proposal is we've got an initial small team of 5 people that will be the first beta test of this thing. Basil will actually act as the lead, looking at reviewing code, making sure we're doing good work, etc. But we've already got Adrian started on it, and Bruno has definitely started on it. So there's good investigation work going on there. Basil, anything you want to say about that in addition?
No. It might be a good opportunity, I think, to also look at a Commons Lang 2 removal as we also work on Java 25, in the sense that they're both easy, but they both require working on a large spectrum of the plugin ecosystem. So while it's not a requirement, I think it'll be a good use of time to tackle these things together as we go through all of these plugins.
Very good. Thank you. Yeah, Valentin, I've seen several proposals, several pull requests from you to remove Commons Lang 2. Thanks very much. We're making good progress. Alex, we had on the governance topics, I'd put this additional. Anything else you wanted to share on election?
No, I think good at this point.
Great. So the CDF Technical Oversight Committee, the project seat elections, Basil was nominated from the Jenkins project, and there were only 2 seats available. Each project could have as much as one of those. Basil's been elected. So Basil, thanks very much for your willingness to serve on the CDF TOC. Contributor Summit is coming the Friday before FOSDEM 2026. Now that date is not yet determined, so FOSDEM hasn't announced their date yet, but we expect it to be end of January or early February 2026. Alyssa Tong has been able to confirm the venue with Beta Cowork. It'll cost us this year to reserve the room, but it's only $250. To you as board members, are you all okay with that expense being a good expense for us to use Cloud or Jenkins money to fund the room?
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
a good
sure.
use.
Great. All right, good. And in terms of prioritizing the attendees and their reimbursements, I'd like to just use the same process we used last year where we have a spreadsheet where board members are allowed to vote their priorities on the people who are proposed to be attending the Contributor Summit. We will again, I expect, be limited to not more than about 25 attendees. So we'll have to choose carefully. And we'll be using, instead of last year's funding from software in the public interest, this year we use the Jenkins crowdfunding site. It has about $17,000 in the account right now. Last year we spent about $6,000 to do the funded travel reimbursements. Any concerns there from board members on the plan that we just used the same process as last year?
Yeah, it worked well last year.
Great. Okay. Next topic is that there's an upcoming CDF membership drive in September and October. So this is where the CDF governing board needs to recruit more members, right? We really need more members. And the Linux Foundation sales organization does not do that kind of selling. So the board is planning a promotional drive to encourage companies to join the Continuous Delivery Foundation. This is important to Jenkins because CDF funds the Jenkins infrastructure and CDF holds the Jenkins intellectual property, right, through the LF charities. They're the ones that hold our trademarks, etc. So I'll keep everybody informed of this one, but please be aware that we're going to actively be promoting getting more companies to join the Continuous Delivery Foundation. Next topic then was JFrog artifact storage reduction. And here the big topic is that Basil, thanks for actually, maybe Basil, we let you talk about this one more than me. I've given what I think is my summary, but maybe you can give a better summary than I'd offer.
Sure. So we started doing this bandwidth analysis about 2 months ago. We had previously done a similar exercise, I think 2 or 3 years ago. And initially, we didn't have a lot of data to analyze. But since then, JFrog has given us access to the billing logs, which are the main thing that we need. And we have about 2 months of them now. And that has allowed us to identify a number of consumers that are using a lot of bandwidth that we think we can work with if we can identify them and have a conversation with them. That includes our own infrastructure, which is one of the top consumers. So we've already made some internal improvements to lower usage from our own infrastructure, and then we've identified a short list of top users that we're trying to reach out to. We haven't been all that successful at reaching out to individual companies, either identifying them or getting responses from them. In one case, we found a um, potential company that was using a lot of resources, and when we reached out to them, they weren't able to really do anything to lower their usage. They couldn't they couldn't necessarily identify the machine that was using all of the bandwidth. So while we have been working with some companies, we've gotten fairly limited responses from them, and there are other cases where we haven't been able to identify the company behind a particular IP address. Um, so it's looking like the next step for us is to do some kind of brownout where we spend 2 days and block a bunch of addresses, and that should make it easier for the companies that we're already working with to identify which machine is responsible once it stops working for like 2 days. And then the other hope is that with that brownout, we'll be able to identify the remaining companies who we haven't identified yet. We have certain IP addresses that all we know about is that they're hosted in a particular cloud in a particular data center, but we don't know who owns them. So we're hoping that exercise will um, bring those people to light or those companies to light, and that we can then have further conversations with them. Um, so ultimately, we've been making some progress here, but we still have a lot more work to do to identify these users and to get them to lower their usages. If we are unable to do that, then we'll have to do some kind of um, automated throttling of bandwidth, whether that's through something like Cloudflare or a homegrown solution. But that's going to be the sort of the option if we can't get this usage to go down organically. That would be the remaining choice that we have. Um, I think that summarizes it. Did you have anything else to add, Mark?
No, thank you. That's exactly that. The infra team has agreed that IP address blocking is a good thing. The choice of 2 days is guided largely by conversations Basil and I had at the Linux Open Source Summit with the Sonatype people who host Maven Central. What they found was if they didn't block for at least 2 days, people didn't pay attention and act on the blockage. They would just wait and wait for it to come back and not notice it. So it's intentional that it's at least a 2-day block like that, and we hope that will cause them to, oh, hey, we're broken. Yes, you are. Any questions from others on to Basil or to me on artifact storage reduction or artifact bandwidth reduction? Okay, so
Seems
next,
good.
thanks, Valentin. Next topic then is cloud expenses. And here, rather than going through the details, we are on track to be off of Microsoft Azure on time by August 31, and we'll have a little bit of money left in that donation, but not a lot. Nice win. AWS, we're on track to keep going for 17 months or more with the current donation. So that's a very nice result. And the CDF sponsorship, we're running a little hot this month because of the transition from other things, but we will stay within our annual budget. That part we're confident of. And right now, the big move is that updates.jenkins.io and get.jenkins.io, not Git, sorry, are moving their backend database from the Microsoft account that Microsoft sponsored to the CDF sponsored account. And we seem to be doing just fine. Any questions on budgets for anyone? Okay, great. Last topic is just a status report. Um, I haven't received any confirmation yet from Software in the Public Interest that the funds we agreed to donate to the Oregon State University Open Source Library or Open Source Laboratory have actually been donated. The last conversation I had with them was back in June. I sent them a request to refresh status today to hear have they completed the donation or is the money still sitting there in our account?
Before
Oh,
we move on, I had one more thing one more thing that I remembered about the bandwidth reduction.
go
Um,
ahead.
I thought this might be an interesting thing to talk about. It's not really, uh, yeah. So one of the things we did notice was that a pretty large percentage, not not the majority, but there was a pretty big chunk of bandwidth coming from one particular AI company, and they were downloading every single binary of every Jenkins plugin that we had ever released, like sweeping through the entire list, downloading every old version of Jenkins, every old plugin. Um, and in that case, thankfully, we we did find that they have a way to a way to prevent that from happening through a robots file. But they actually have documentation about this that shows you how you can create a robots file that will prevent them from downloading all of your stuff. So we have to get JFrog to do that because we can't just make a text file on their. We don't host the server that's running the Jenkins Artifactory. It's hosted by JFrog. But that's another angle that we're pursuing as well. It wasn't a huge chunk. I mean, it was a large chunk, but it was not enough to solve the entire problem. But that was something new this time. We didn't see that like 3 years ago. There were no AI companies crawling all of our binaries last time, so that was a change. But hopefully JFrog can put that robots file in, and that will help us even more.
Thanks. Good reminder. And JFrog replied to me a day or two ago that their infra team is looking at it. And I think they're considering applying that technique across all of their repositories, not just for Jenkins, right? So it could be a major win for them to have all the other public repositories that they host safeguarded this same way. Thanks, Basil. Thanks very much.
Yeah, I mean it's effectively a business to business decision at that point.
Right. Exactly. All right. Thank you. My last topic was rotating who leads the meeting. I've realized that I've been the one assembling meeting agendas, etc., and I'd like to ask for help. So I have the following proposal. Alex, I think since elections are next month, we should have you lead us in September. Valentin, have you do it October,
Yeah, I think that's fine.
and
Yeah, that
then
works for me.
Basil, we would have you lead in November, if that's okay with
Yeah,
you, Basil.
great. Sure.
And then Alex Brandes, we would have do December. and then back to Mark, assuming I'm elected again in January. So given the number of, hey, that's okay, I'm going to consider that an agreed, done deal, and we'll go with it. When you attempt to edit the notes, you may find, oh, you don't have permission. Send me a question saying how give me permission, Mark. I'm not sure how to do all those things, but we'll figure it out.
There's also the permissions for hosting the Zoom meeting.
Right, and that's another part of that I've got to be sure that every board member should be allowed to use the Zoom media account, but I suspect we're not yet set up to do that. Good pointer. Any other topics for today? All right, thanks very much for your time.